And welcome to the Writer's Life, place where you get the sights, sounds, taste, take two. Welcome to the Writer's Life, place where you get the sights, sounds, tastes, smells of my particular writer's life, and where you get the truth about the writer's life. Coming to you from the outside, from outside on the terrace on this gorgeous Sunday, really gorgeous Sunday, um, which I've been using to work all day. But like I said, it's not work. Well, actually, some of it was work today because I was working on my website. Um, I didn't realize it, but like some of it's really screwed up. No prices on the books, no stores mentioned, and so like I just been going through it book by book by book and correcting all that stuff. So anyway, if you go over there and you have an issue, just remember you can always go to Amazon, and get whatever you want. But in any case, it's work in progress. So I was reading. Well, first off, I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine. We talk almost every day, even though he's in Denver. We talk over LinkedIn. I don't know why I did that gesture with the LinkedIn thing, but anyway. Um, and he's always saying like how proud he is about how proud he is about what I've achieved and all these things and whatever, which I really appreciate. Thanks, Tim. Um, but he just happened to mention he's like, you're not as famous as like, or somehow he said it. He didn't mean anything bad by it. And I was like, well, I'm not entirely, I haven't reached the fame like say, I think we were talking about Harlan Coben maybe, or who else would there be nowadays? Michael Connolly maybe, um, Stephen King, all those older dudes that, well, Harlan's not that old, but the old guys, the old guard. And he's right. I have not, but I said I'm not entirely anonymous in my circles. And he's like, well, yeah, no, I figured that. And so we were just going on about it, and we're talking about like how musicians like are, like who's a famous rock and roll musician now, really? Like who's the new Paul McCartney, or who's the new John Lennon, or you know, um, where's the next Nirvana? Like I suppose like my daughter who's a musician, like I'm sure she knows of really famous pop music bands, I guess, but like I haven't heard of them, and it's not because like I'm an old dude, but you know, you stream now. You don't go to record stores and buy records. Um, Bookstores are dying. Like you just go online, you get what you want when you want. So you curate your own entertainment. You don't wait once a week to see the episode of your favorite show, like I used to do as a kid. You curate what you want via Netflix or whatever. I never go to movies anymore. Like the new Indiana Jones is coming out, right? Like I'll wait till it streams to see it. Um, you know, and in terms of writing like that, you know, remember the days you'd walk into like a B&N or like any bookstore, and there'd always be like the 10, you know, authors that you were always sort of forced to buy, the James Pattersons, um, you know, um, whatever. Like, I guess the Robert Parkers probably to an extent. Um, Michael Conley, like I said, Clive Cussler. Like it was always like 90% of the population were reading like 1% of the books out there, and that's because their publisher paid for their position, or their publisher paid for a spot on the New York Times bestseller list. Um, you know, it, that's just the way it used to work. It was a very selective thing, and they sort of forced you to buy these books. Now, with the indie movement and what I call the network society, where people are giving up the gatekeepers, and that includes like podcasters, like Joe Rogan, now Tucker Carlson and Dave Smith. No one wants a gatekeeper anymore. You know why? First of all, who wants to give up that money? And second of all, who wants to have to follow the rules? So you can just do your own thing. So like, I don't know. I have like 6,000 followers on this thing, maybe a little more. You know, I don't know if all of them pay attention to it, but like, you know, but 6,000 followers there, you know, like 8,000 subscribers to my website, you know, to my whatever, another 8,000 subscribers on my Substack. Certainly, I'm famous in those circles. But, you know, outside of that, I don't know. I sell books in all sorts of different countries and things like that. But are people like, you know, pointing me out in airports, like, oh, there's that writer guy? Not yet, anyway. And I think that's what my buddy was getting at. He's like, but it's going to happen. You know, maybe. Who knows? But I do think that fame is much more elusive these days. And like Kristin Kathryn Rusch was pointing out in her very well written blog, of which there's a link below, called Simply Stars. Like most of the movie stars that you see walking the red carpet these days are octogenarians, like Harrison Ford, who's one of my favorites. And I think the same can be said for the, you know, like the 10 most famous authors. Like I guarantee if you were to walk up to somebody and say, like, who are the 10 most famous authors in the world? You know, they'd be like, wow, Clive Cussler, he's dead. Robert Parker, he's dead. James Patterson, he's in his 70s. Michael Conley, he's in his 70s. John Irving, he's in his 80s. You know, so like, you see where I'm getting at. Anyway, that's all I had to say today. I just was thinking about this, thinking about fame and all that sort of stuff. Remember when you were young, though? You'd go to a record store and you'd buy that record and smell it, the plastic, take the plastic off and throw it on the turntable. And, you know, the smell of the record when it came out. And you'd stare at the cover for hours while you spun the record. And, you know, maybe you had a poster of the band in your bedroom and all that sort of stuff. I don't even know if that happens anymore. You know, now that everybody streams, you know, you don't go out and buy posters of your favorite band, or do you? You know, I guess it was the same with writers at that time, and same with your favorite television stars and your favorite movie stars. I don't know if it exists anymore. Who knows? We'll see what happens in the next 5 years or so. All right. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, God willing. Ciao, ciao.